Hi. Look, wee.
Hello and welcome to another modelling video. This is Alan from the Man at YouTube with another 3D printing anime garage kit figure featuring the 1/6/7 scale I伊那尓, a popular VTuber character from the Hololive brand, role-playing a Lovecraftian priestess. The 3D model was digitally sculpted by Pikitty and purchased off Colts 3D, link in the description, for approximately $20, a lot more than a free model. However, produced much like a professional cast garage model kit, with option parts, base, and some of the most amazing texture I've seen in fabric and clothing on a figure. The zip folder contains a list of parts well labelled, and immediately went into work rotating them around, hollowing and adding drain holes, positioning and adding supports strategically where it would be very easy to clean and any pock marks or leftover sanding or nub marks will not be visible, such as seams and interconnecting surfaces that would be hidden when assembled. Drain holes were added to similar strategic points, pre-adding 2mm points for wire pinning. It was an immense and tedious job that took a few hours. The supports were also too densely applied. Still learning this medium after all, as each part is saved as a new STL file through the Anycubic slicing editing suite. All the components were gathered and prepared to slice as a G-code file to be loaded in the 3D printer. An Anycubic Mono X 6K. Due to the base and the size of the project, everything was spread across 2 prints. I'm not concerned if components are horizontal or vertical, as long as it's easy to clean and assemble. And as the printer is unoccupied for 5-6 days a week, it's very high and prints for a long time is also not that bad. I am using Jayo standard flesh coloured resin, preheating the bed to a toasty 40 degrees Celsius. Then priming, pre-wetting the bed in resin for a superior stick. The slicing settings are set at a slower retraction with a slightly longer exposure rate, documenting each print and use to see profitability and life of printing hours before a screen crashes and dies. Both prints were stunning, crisp and very successful, no failures. The parts were pried off the bed, then cleaned in methylated spirits to remove residue. Then the tacky fresh resin on the surface was cured hard under natural UV rays outside. The components are very light and contains no trapped or fresh resin inside. At 2mm walls. To improve adhesion further, I've catted a mesh grid that goes under all the parts and rafts. This also keeps everything together and not lose parts when moving, cleaning and curing. At only about 10+ grams. This is immediately cut into individual components. Water is boiled and soaked from the support line, heating and softening the resin so much that it mostly peels off fairly easily. For easily damaged, delicate and thin parts, these are individually and hand trimmed off with nippers. This too is also a very lengthy and tedious job, leaving an aftermath of supports. The leftover pockmarks does determine how cured and how well you've removed the supports. I found the easiest method is simply getting a Dremel or rotary nail tool and grinding it down. Sometimes the fits on these kits are not the best and it's a good opportunity to run down material and make a looser fit for glue. Dust is crazy carcinogenic, do so outside and with adequate respirator and mask. The points that I added holes for assembly and support pins was reamed out with a drill, slid in easily and sometimes asphyxiated with superglue. As I'm going along with cleaning and pinning, I'm constantly doing test fits to make sure everything is flush and if further adjustments are needed. The outfit is a single colour and the rest is flesh. This project I would rather deal with seams pre-painted before post-painted and mask any sort of lingerie and clothing. Using building epoxy, as I've got a ton, they were applied in each joint and forced together. Any gaps was filled with filling putty. These were allowed to dry and sand back, then super gluing finer detail. still keeping the head, one arm and hair separate. Thinning down some automotive grade lacquer primer with standard hardware brand lacquer thinner. The mix was a watery viscosity that still sticks to a surface transparently. This was airbrushed to around 18 to 20 psi out of a 0.5mm Gallier airbrush. Prime section was inspected for faults, sanded down and re-primed, leaving a clean surface. Next step, I had some custom made flesh paint from an automotive store. Pre-shaded a very bright orange tan lines around all the crevices of the body and details around the torso, back, neckline, armpits. A lovely pale humanoid flesh, also custom mix. You can see the viscosity swelling in the shot glass as I mentioned. It's strategically filled in between the tan lines, pulled back and dusted on to blend it all together, or known as the post shade. With the third tone imitating cascading light of a very bright near white flesh, highlighting large surfaces such as the thighs and forehead. Face was made up via brush painting, and for further yet very effective ease, hand painted the stockings and lingerie with a very light bright blue. Yes, this does leave streak marks, but by re-hosing the entire surface via airbrush and straight thinner, it is re-wettened, self-levels and dries as if it was masked and airbrushed. Ironically, the flesh areas are masked, but no emphasis on neatness, and the clothing is highlighted with a light grey, then extra highlights of a white to give it the texture and weight of fabric. Finishing off with the hair with a low light or dark blue underneath and in between the hair follicles and detail. A mid base coat covering the entire surface and the top of the head, and a third tone finally adding little highlights. The hair weirdly gradally transforms from the tips of the bangs to these weird tentacles that is highlighted into a brown and furtherly shaded down into a yellow, much like the character. The base in a high gloss gunmetal with extra hand painting details here and there. All the parts have been laid out and allowed to fully dry and chemically cure, as so the paint won't damage or chip when start handling. With the same building adhesive, to our advantage of a fleshy tan colour, the head and the arm is positioned to allow the complex and very fragile hair to be interlocked and put into its pose. I'm really warming up more and more with construction adhesive with its very slow dry time and strong finish. Everything was finished up with a matte clear varnish, homebrewed with automotive clear tint and matting agent in several very dry dust coats, concluding the build. Again, my hat off to the digital sculptor Pikitty. This is a fairly wonderful model and very buildable that suggests and showcases movement and time-space captured in resin model form. The joints can be a bit tight, nothing hard to sort, but no serious challenges and very reasonable project. With the past couple of commissions and kits, I've also rethought my stance on paying for STL and digital models by reputable, very skilled artisans. I'd love to spend more time on another one of their sculpts, which I highly recommend checking out. In the way of my methods and ways going around this build, fairly happy with the outcome and definitely felt that I've improved a bit in some of these processes and medium. Obviously with a couple of shortcomings and areas to improve. Very daunting to paint faces and eyes. With time and equipment required to invest in making eye decals, I wish to just keep going down this path and get better. The slicing and cleaning of supports is least favourite aspects of this job, especially with 3 kits back to back, a bit burnt out. The rest of it is like any other cast resin garage, which I highly enjoy, especially the painting and finishing. Otherwise, even with a smaller printer, all of this is very possible and fairly easy to do. Slicing and sorting files to your preference does have a massive learning curve with a lot of failures. Don't leave resin inside, they explode, but nothing I have demonstrated is particularly hard, and skills necessarily learnt can be observed from videos videos like this and a few tutorials, equipment being very standard hobby tools. A final tip added: if you do finish these models either by a free or paid sculptor, it's amazing etiquette and you'll go a long way by sharing photos of your build, especially on the platform like Cult and Thingiverse, with the creator. One, it absolutely makes their day, but two, it shows that their model is printable, as most are demonstrated by a 3D render like this one, which helps out their career significantly. Just a nice little friendly gesture, and one who also CADs and releases model. I love the thrill. That concludes the project build and video. Be sure to check the description section for any links and to this particular model and Pikitty's catalogue. This was a very labour and time intensive build and video editing process. Did document a little too much. If you feel inclined, would love a like or comment. Also have other social medias to follow where I showcase builds and other things off channel. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, until next time, stay tuned for further content, and we'll catch you guys next time.